How's it going, everyone? We are back for another video on F1 2022 My Team Career Mode, and this time we are in Miami for a home Grand Prix. As you can see here, I'm starting to get sick of the Miami livery, but there's not really that many liveries that I have unlocked that I quite enjoy compared to the other ones. But looking ahead in the pit pass or whatever it's called, the off-brand battle pass, there are definitely some nice skins in there. But as we can see, not much in terms of development since we are just a little bit off to get everything. And I'm not one who really focuses that much on durability. Just never have. Don't really care that much. I'd much rather put the points towards something like the chassis or aerodynamics. But just a fair warning ahead: some of the video of Q1 got deleted. Don't know where it went. Actually, I kind of had a little bit of a fright here. I thought that all of the footage just didn't upload at all because I thought I sent NVIDIA Shadowplay to a different folder, but it didn't actually go, and it went to the original folder. But as you can see here, P8 automatic into Q2. This was due to we were one of the first to actually go out, and we put a nice lap in, and it started to rain, and everyone had to go on to inters, but that puts us into P8. Don't remember where our teammate qualified, probably last. Right now, his case is not looking so hot. He's definitely getting close to the chopping block. Once it comes halfway, we might have to drop him. But super wet now. We have to go full wets, actually, as this is a very tough track to drive on when it's actually raining out. I mean, even just with inters, just a hard track to race on. It's just so high speed. You have to brake so much sooner than you actually think. And actually coming around here, they patched a little bit of it. Like if you're going to go off there, you need to go off. You can't just go a little bit off. You have to go the full 9 yards. But this is, I don't think this is our first out in Q2. I can't remember. I have a lot of footage uploaded, or a lot of footage downloaded, just has to be edited and voiced over, just like right here. But Kevin Magnussen sets the fastest lap, a 1:42. It's not looking that great for us. This hasn't been a spectacular lap in terms of I've been sliding all over the place. Just very hard to get down. As you can see, even so much wheel spin, even in 5th gear. So it's very, very hard to race around here. But according to the forecast, it will be clear for the race. And as you can see here, we just go super wide, almost completely off the track, but we just managed to keep our left front right on the white line, as definitely past Kevin Magnussen's 142 as we hit a 145.5, and as you see, Charles Leclerc sets an even faster lap of a 141. Terrible lap. But as you can see here, we managed to shave a second, which isn't even enough to really get us anywhere. I mean, we've just been struggling, especially coming into this last corner. Going wide every time. I actually went on a lap previous to this lap, but I just completely killed it and went way too wide into the final corner, as there's not much we really did in qualifying. I mean, we got out of Q1, but that was all thanks to it raining and us going out before everyone, not really due to skill. But as we know, the car has some decent race pace, so we can't count ourselves out of the race. As you can see, I have a rivalry going on with Pierre Gasly, which is going to be very hard because when they asked me to choose a rival, it was right after we were P8, and we scored a lot of points. We were up there with some of the bigger teams. But it's race time, not really much we changed with the strategy. In fact, I probably should have lowered some of the fuel, but I had to change my differential back as I had to switch it when it was raining. But yeah, overall, not really much we changed with the setup as we make our way onto the grid. Lights out, and away we go. For the most part, a bad start. We get sandwiched in between George Russell, who's actually fallen quite a bit, but we managed to outbreak the both of them, and we even managed to gain a couple of places. As you can see, Max Verstappen puts that Red Bull right into the wall, and we gain a superb amount of positions, five, I believe, as a virtual safety car is deployed right behind Albon, or right behind Pierre Gasly, just ahead of Alexander Albon, all the way up into P8. Absolutely phenomenal. We positioned our car perfectly there. It could not have been any better. If only we had a full safety car, do I think this could have gotten any better. As you can see, we still have quite a lot of fuel. Definitely, I'm going to regret not lowering the fuel usage, but our rival in this season, right ahead of us, definitely going to want to be hunting him down. We've definitely improved our straight line speed with quite a bit of the developments, but absolutely what a start. But as you can see on the mini map, our teammate has fallen down into last. So while it has benefited us, it has not quite benefited our teammate, as this isn't going to help him when I make my final executive decision on who will be racing for Molina Motorsports midway through this year's F1 season. And I probably should have put a replay in of what exactly happened. I'm definitely going to have to start saving my games and doing replays of events that have happened. But superb start as the virtual safety car has ended. We get a fairly neutral start. Not quite a better start than Pierre, but not a worse start than Alexander Albon, as we touch the back of Pierre Gasly. Luckily, no damage to our front wing. That was very, very close. Could have ended very badly, as I don't know why Pierre broke so late or so earlier than he needed to. Definitely has a much faster car, as we almost lose it coming there, touching a little bit too much of the curb as Alexander Albon tries to stick his elbows out a little bit, but we managed to fend him off. And now we hit the second straight, a very long straight. Definitely kills the DRS coming down here. I try not to use too much, especially since we have a long race to go. But other than that, we could absolutely perfect. We're riding in P8. This is going to help us tremendously in the end of the season, when we want to get as much money as possible, and especially with the sponsors. As my current sponsor with Equinox, we get I can't remember how much, but we get a good chunk of money for scoring 1 point in a weekend. As you can see there, we just went a little bit too wide, and that gives us our first warning of the race. Definitely don't want to pick up too many of those, as we don't want to get a penalty, as quite a few drivers saw in Austria this year. But coming around this corner, I don't think I've quite gotten it right, as Alex Albon gained so much time and I lose so much time to Pierre Gasly. I don't believe I'm taking that apex correctly, or it could just be I'm not wrapping my car around the corner fast enough. As we lose a little bit of time to Pierre Gasly, but we have gained a little bit when compared to the safety car, or virtual safety car restart. But we cannot complain too much, as we are P8. As you can see there, actually our teammate isn't last, as we get a final warning before we get a penalty. This is not what we want. We definitely need to be careful around there. Like I told you guys, if we want to go wide there, we have to go wide. We can't just go a little bit. We have to go the whole 9 yards. But as you can see by our mini map, Max Verstappen has fallen down quite a bit. So technically our teammate isn't last, but I won't be surprised if Max Verstappen is able to get up to our teammate. As you can see here, we decide to go a little bit longer than the strategy requires, and there's not really much that happens up until then, but I try to let Sergio Perez through, but he just locks it up, and this completely ruins it, and this could possibly allow Alex Albon to be ahead of us. coming out of the pits. So we need a stellar pit stop from our mechanics, and we get a perfect optimal turn in, and we come out with a 2-3, just ahead the lower estimate, so pretty neutral, but still great. But Alexander Albon, as you can see here, just comes flying out. Doesn't even seem to see us. Almost takes our front wing off, but luckily we were able to hold on to that front wing. And I bet you, even if we lost it, Alex Albon would not have gotten a penalty. And this is not what we want. Alexander Albon is now ahead of us and gaining, as we have cold tires, and he has at least a couple laps because he pitted way before us. But not that hard to reheat the tires, luckily, here in Miami, as just after a couple corners, usually your tires are all the way back up into heat, but still 7 seconds behind Pierre Gasly, 1.1 seconds behind Alexander Albon, and 1 second ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Not the most ideal place to be right now, as most of these drivers do have quite faster cars, although the exception of Alex Albon, who I do believe we have a much better car than, and I'm not too worried about him staying ahead of us. It's more so Yuki Tsunoda getting ahead of us before we can get into Alexander Albon. So definitely unfortunate situation for us there, as we go a little bit wide coming out of the final real turn. I don't know if these count as turns, but we're just going to call that the final turn. But we managed to stay within DRS range of Alex Albon. And where we really need to overtake is that long second straight. That'll be the most ideal place to overtake, especially if we're able to overtake and go into the corner ahead. But coming through here, this is definitely my fastest spot, as we're able to gain so much more time. And this is going to be perfect for us going into this long straight, as I'll get a much better start here than Alex Albon. And we just apply little dabs of overtake, not too much. We don't want to use too much of it. And a little bit late on the DRS, but as you can see, we're just gaining and gaining and taking big chunks out of Alex Albon's half-second lead, as coming into this corner, probably down to 0.2 of a second. Yep. But Alex Albon going slower through here. We just have to ride the rear and bump draft him a little bit. And this allows this backs us up a little bit into Yuki Tsunoda. And the last thing we want is Yuki Tsunoda overtaking us coming down this very long straight. Again, this is a nice place to overtake. I mean, there's a lot of great places to overtake around here in Miami. But we don't really do much until lap 10, as we go for a late lunge on Alex Albon. He just doesn't quite seem to see us, and as you could have saw by the bottom right corner, there was a little bit of damage to his front wing, as we almost lose the back coming through that little chicane there. But we managed to hold on, and this backs us up even more into Alex Albon and Yuki Tsunoda. And Alex Albon, with the straight line speed with the DRS, is going to be able to easily overtake us coming down this straight. Now we just have to make sure that Yuki Tsunoda stays behind, because the last thing we want is to fight off two drivers. As I go for a re-overtake of Alex Albon, we just go super wide, touching the wall. Luckily, no damage to the car. This front wing has taken a beating this race. So many times we've bumped draft drivers, a couple of times we've touched the wall, but still manages to stay intact. This is why we don't need to upgrade our durability, because our durability is perfect. But we managed to stay in front of Alex Albon on lap 11, just 3 or 4 laps to go. But of course, we don't manage to stay high much longer, as Alex Albon, with the DRS help, and actually Yuki Tsunoda trying to stick his elbows out a little bit, tries but fails ultimately. But now we are behind Alex Albon, but again, I feel confident in my driving ability that we can stay ahead and go for P9 in this race, as I don't exactly know what happened to us with P8, even with Pierre Gasly ahead of us. I don't know if maybe one of the drivers eventually got ahead. But as you can look at our mini map, Max Verstappen just chilling behind a big train of drivers that actually isn't too far behind us. So we might have to look out for Max Verstappen, but George Russell is all the way down there. Don't have to really worry about him. But again, our teammate dead last now as we try to go for another overtake on Alex Albon, and going into the corner, we are ahead, giving us a nice advantage over him. And he's unable to really fight that move. Our car is just so much better than his. And again, just sliding around here, this is going to abuse quite a bit of the rear wheels. But when I looked at my temps throughout the race, we probably could have increased the temperatures a little bit more. So we're definitely going to have a bit fresher tires towards the end of the race as we come up on the couple final laps. But Yuki Tsunoda is just gaining so much time down the straight. Just with DRS, it's a cheat code going down this race. It's like you have a rocket strapped to the back of your car. But we actually don't have too much wheel degradation with these final laps to go. I have contemplated actually increasing the races, but as you can see here, one of the Red Bulls is going slow, and I believe that is Sergio Perez. Could he be out of the race? And he is stopped. Sergio Perez is out of the session. He has DNF'd. It looks like he got his car in a safe spot. We will not see a virtual safety car or a safety car. But this promotes us all the way up into P8, right where we started off at in the very beginning of the race. And this is definitely going to cushion us if something bad were to happen in the race. If, let's say, Alex Albon was able to push us into Yuki Tsunoda, and then we fight Yuki Tsunoda and Alex Albon's out of reach. But it's looking very good as coming up, we're nearing the final lap. We are ahead of Alex Albon. We just need to watch out for this straight. We don't want to be behind him going into the final lap. We need to try our best to defend with the 18% of DRS or ERS we have, as I'm applying it, trying to kind of fend off the DRS. But then again, like I said, the DRS is so powerful down the straight, and as you guys could have seen there, we have quite a bit of fuel left. Definitely should have lowered the fuel amount, but Yuki Tsunoda or Alexander Albon is able to stay behind us. We get a little bit of wheel spin there. Not ideal, as Alex Albon has taken full advantage of this. Looks like he's applied quite a lot of ERS, and now he has the DRS open. This allows him to fight us off a little bit, getting a little bit iffy there at times. And now a little bit of oversteer coming out of the exit. Alex Albon has now cruised past us to take P8. Not the most ideal situation, but we still have 2 more DRS sections to go, and we know we had the faster car. I believe we have fresher tires. I know we pitted way after Alex Albon, so we just need to keep our cool, keep our head down, and just race, as I'm applying as much ERS as I'm comfortable with. Applying the DRS, again, I believe coming through here, getting a little bit close to the wall. We managed to get ahead before the corner start, but Alex Albon is able to defend it a little bit. But taking the inside line, we were able to fend him off, and he just slows down a little bit too much. As now our main problem is this main straight. I probably should have let Alex Albon keep his position up until this spot. Not till thinking about it now do I really realize my mistake. But we got to apply as much ERS as we possibly can till it drains out, as Yuki Tsunoda or Alex Albon just comes flying past us as we have no ERS overtake. But we make a late lunge going around the outside, and normally we would stay behind, but it seems like maybe Alexander Albon had a little bit of trouble going into the corner, and we managed to stay ahead and take P8 for the second race in a row. 4 easy points for us. This is going to be super beneficial for when it comes to upgrading our facilities. This is going to help a lot, and same with deciding a driver towards the end of the season. We can't stick with Théo Pourchaire forever. This isn't really a team that's going to develop drivers at the moment. That's going to come later on. As you can see, Lewis Hamilton wins, unrealistic from this season, as Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz through 2-3 finish for the Ferrari, but P8 for us. 14 total championship points and 14 constructors points coming all from us. But we actually fall down a little bit to AlphaTauri with a tied for 6th, although they are ahead because they've had much better finishes than us. But absolutely phenomenal race. I mean, that collision or that mistake at the very beginning gave us just gave us so much. Just gave us such an advantage as our rival. It's actually double the amount of points they are ahead of us. And Teo Percher, just a lackluster performance. But yeah, not really much to say here. But like I was gonna say before, I'm thinking about I might increase the race laps. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of that. But we do actually get a little bit of damage deductions, as I'm sure our front wing took quite a bit of a beating. But not much else to say. Phenomenal race. 14 points, back-to-back P8 finishes. Absolutely phenomenal. But that's really where I have to leave it off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.